Hey guys, it's official. I've now had dreadlocks for over 6 years, so that's over 72 months. The exact date of which I got the dreadlocks I have not made a note of because 6 years ago it didn't seem like it was gonna be such a big deal, a date that I would need to remember. I got the dreadlocks just before I turned 15, so I was still 14 when I got my dreadlocks, and I have just had my 21st birthday. All the way through being 15, all the way being through 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Definitely 6 full years there. A significant chunk of my life has been with dreadlocks. They still have their annoyances, but I think we've worked out our differences over 6 years, I would hope. So between this video and my previous video, you can see I still have a little bit of loose hair. As I said, I believe it sort of cycles, so sometimes for a few months I will have no loose hair, and then some loose hair will come back, and then that loose hair will get to a certain amount, and then it will walk together. So it's starting to go away, and I'll be into a more pleasant, less loose hair period of time. But I can deal with it. Don't have so much of it in my face at the moment. Just this teeny tiny annoying bit. Still plenty of Congo action, as always. But they're really, really slow. When you first get dreadlocks and the dreadlocks are soft and the roots sections aren't particularly well defined yet, and then they're all joined together and you feel like you have to split your dreads almost every day. Now I can go weeks and weeks and months before any of them get too much love going on between the two. Still sort of things going on at the back where I lay on them, but not a massive thing going on. Oh, still over here. It's like he's attaching to him. If they're guys, this one is attaching to this one, and that one is attaching to that one, and then they're all kind of connected, but they're not properly Congoed together. Lengthwise, I'm still between. I haven't decided whether I want to trim them again yet. Normally I like them a little bit longer than shoulder length, and these are getting a little bit longer than where I prefer them to be, especially at the back. And that's mainly because they sort of sit awkward with clothes. If I wear anything with a hood on it, they kind of flow weird over the back and it just looks really awkward. But the weight is starting to get to me again. When I'm washing my hair, it's starting to... Not a big fan of that, not a big fan. Normally what really drives me to cut them is really hot weather, so I want to be able to shower really quickly and cool down and stuff. But still kind of grey out there. Trust me, when you see me doing these updates when it's humid outside, then you'll see me starting to get a little bit stressed with them. It'll be like loose hair going mental. Generally I'm pretty happy with my dreads all the way through the year until we get to about August, September, and then it gets really humid and I'm like, why are you doing this to me? But for now, all is good. You can have a look at them. Because I trim them, they don't have really long enough to get sort of cool colours. When I used to have them longer at their longest point, and so the dreads at the tip would be many, many years old, they would start to get blonder at the tip, and these are a little bit lighter at the tip than the root, but not how they used to be. They would just get sun bleached over time, so they're just all sort of brown and a little bit lighter at the tips. In certain lights they have a little bit of red to them, but I don't really have red hair, it's just sort of a browny red colour. But they're all pretty sort of thinnish, apart from the Congos. Most of my normal dreads are fairly thin. This is sort of an example of my normal dread, but it's Congoed up here, so they were all roughly around this size. Lots of them are Congoed up and things, so that's what my sort of normal one would look like. And there's not a lot of lumps going on, and I believe the lack of lumps is a combination between them being matured, so you don't get as many lumps with older dreads because most of the lumps and bumps come from shrinkage, but also I think it's to do with how I wash and dry the dreads. I don't palm roll my dreads or crochet them or anything, but when I'm washing I like to do a lot of squeezing at the end to get the shampoo and things out, so I'll really squeeze them, and I think that sort of squeezes them into this fairly uniform shape. And then when I'm drying my hair there's a lot of rubbing, not individual dreads but between the towel, and then squeezing with the towel, so it sort of squeezes them into their shape. Look at the length of the back, because they always look longer at the back than they do at the front. You can see that they are fairly long while I'm tilting my head a bit there, so it's kind of cheating. But I like how mad they are. They're not all exactly the same colour, and they're not all the same length, and they're not all the same thickness. So there's texture to my hair. Very textured. But I guess that's the big one then. 6 years is going to be a while. Well, it'll be a year until I have another milestone dreadlock update. And I would be fairly confident that they will still be here in a year because I'm having lots of fun with them still. And I'm having lots of fun with the YouTube channel, and to make a Dreadlocks YouTube channel I kind of still need to have Dreadlocks. And I have lots of things coming up on Dreadlocks channel, this channel right here that you are watching at this moment in time. We're just getting into summer, so I'm going to have plenty of time to work through your questions, because that has really taken off. I expected to get about 10 questions in total. I'm like, oh, I thought I would be able to do all the Dreadlock question and answer things in maybe 1 or 2 videos, and we're in video 6 now, and there's still plenty to go, and I'm having lots of fun doing that. And I'm still getting questions, and repeat questions from the same people, so I'm assuming that people out there are enjoying those questions videos too. And at some point I would really like to do videos on, you know, waxes and products, and I kind of have a lot to say about that, and I don't want to make a giant, really long video where people lose interest and then not really get all the points. So I might do short videos on that, bullet point videos on that, or maybe a long one and then a condensed video, but we'll see. And then depending on whether or not I'm going to be trimming these, I will go through some tips and how I trim my dreads, but it's so hard to choose because they're heavy and they take a long time to dry, but they do look awesome when they're long, don't they? They're so soft and nice, and if I cut them and then you have that really annoying time when they're not quite long enough to tie back, or not long enough to tie back with themselves, because I like to tie them back with themselves. I'm so lazy that, you know, lazy dreads, that I always tie them back with themselves like that. And to give you an idea of how they are when I trim them, last time I trimmed them so short that they weren't long enough to do that. So you can see how much excess there is when I do it now. Look, these 2 dreads, I can bring them over, tie it back, and look how much excess there is here. So yeah, this time last year I didn't have 2 dreads long enough to do that. So my dreads grow quite fast. Some people find it really weird that they've been growing their dreads for many years and they're only about my length of hair. Some people assume that this is how long my dreadlocks are after 6 years and that my hair just grows, you know, slightly slow. Whereas in reality it seems to grow really fast, and then I chop huge chunks off. But to conclude, I've had a fun 6 years, and although it seems like I am having dreadlocks on my mind a lot of the time, that's mainly because of, you know, I do the YouTube channel and the Twitter feed and things, whereas in regular, normal life, I forget that I have dreadlocks. I know there's people out there with young dreadlocks who are constantly worrying about the dreads and wanting to do little things and scared that they're not going to mature or that the roots aren't going to dread by themselves. And so it can seem when you have young dreadlocks that dreadlocks are a huge part of your life. To me, the dreadlocks really aren't that much of a huge part of my life. They're just hair like any other hair. I get up in the morning, I just happen to have dreadlocks. The only time that dreadlocks really come into play is when I do my YouTube things or my website things. Rest of the time, just hair. And trust me, it goes a lot faster when you forget you have dreadlocks. When I do dreadlocks, I'd be worrying all the time. Like, what is wrong with this bit? What is wrong with that bit? And then, you know, eventually I forgot about them. And then just one day I look in the mirror and go, wow, look, those have matured really fast, and this is doing that, and this is doing that. So my advice after 6 years of dreadlocks is stop worrying about them, don't touch them, just wash them, dry them, and let them do their thing, and then before you know it, they'll be, you know, perfectly healthy and fine and good, and all that nice stuff. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope you stick around to watch my other videos, and you can subscribe, and then when you subscribe, when I upload a new video, it will come straight to you, and it'll be in your feed, and you're like, oh look, Chris has made a new video, haha! You know, if you get excited about my things like that. I would. I find myself excited. No, I'm kidding. But cheers, thanks guys, bye.